Hi, everyone. This week we're going to spend a significant amount of time taking a look at economic disparities. So we've got wealthy countries, we've got poor countries, and why is it that we have this difference in wealth? And um, to begin with, you're going to take a look at economic systems. We don't all operate the exact same way when it comes to our economies, and so you're going to take a look through the slideshow called "Types of Economic Systems." You're going to come up with a couple of definitions and try and identify the differences between these four major economic systems: traditional, command, market, and mixed economy. And you'll find all the information on that at this website. And there's your descriptions right there. And you want to get the advantages and disadvantages of each one. Once you've figured out the differences between the major economic systems, a bit of a thought experiment. So if you wanted to solve a problem here in Niagara, which is we have too much traffic congestion on the QEW highway, which runs along the lakeshore here through very valuable agricultural land. If you wanted to build another highway that goes parallel to it, they call it the Mid-Corridor, Mid-Peninsula Corridor Highway. How could you do this? It would be extremely expensive, and somebody's got to maintain it. And the province is arguing, well, we need some options. So what I would like you to do is think of one way that you could build the highway and fund it and then look after it. And then suggest what type of economic model that matches up with. So for instance, if you think of the 407 highway system, it's owned and operated very differently than, for instance, the 401, this big highway that runs through here, big publicly funded highway. You don't pay a cent to drive on that one. So put your ideas into the to the Dropbox. I think it's called the Mid-Peninsula Corridor. Or not into the Dropbox, into the discussion area, so that everybody can throw in their ideas on different ways that we could create this highway system and which economic model it matches up with. Secondly, you're going to take a look at economic disparity. So, for instance, there's a huge difference in wealth between the northern part of Ontario and places like Attawapiskat, which doesn't even have clean water, and places like Toronto or London, Ottawa, etc. So one of the key things about this lesson is the stages of economic development, and we find that most economies will go through this 5-stage system, and you should make notes on the characteristics of each one of those 5 stages. And then there's a video that goes along with this. And then we take a look at why some of the countries did not follow those steps as quickly as other countries. And in particular, we'll look at the disrupting effect of colonialism. Colonialism has stunted the economic growth of many, many countries, and it's taken them a long time to recover from the effects of colonialism. So there's a discussion about the impacts of colonialism here, and you can try a little practice quiz to see how well you've learned the material. Finally, the last slideshow, yes, unfortunately, 3 slideshows this week, taking a look at countries that have gotten themselves into a lot of trouble with debt. If you take a look at the United States, the biggest debtor nation in the world, the thing about it is it has a massive economy and therefore it can pay for its debt, whereas poorer countries don't have the financial resources like the United States does to pay off their debts, and as a result, their growth has been crippled by debt. And there's a couple of different solutions that have been proposed to the debt problem. And there's a couple of different reasons why these countries got into these debt crisis to begin with. So make sure that you're familiar with these two methods of debt relief. One's called the heavily indebted poor countries, great exam question, or the Jubilee 2000 debt campaign. Remember, once again, that this week your final project outline is expected to be handed in. I'm not expecting a full draft version, but it should have a fairly fleshed out plan for your project that should be put into the Dropbox by tomorrow at midnight.